Good evening, and welcome back. Tonight we continue a story about quiet feelings, about lines we promise ourselves not to cross, and about the kind of love that grows not loudly, but slowly, in silence. In part 2 of My Best Friend's Sister, the distance between them feels smaller, the glances last a little longer, and the unspoken words begin to weigh more than the spoken ones. This is not a story about rushing. It's a story about restraint, about emotions that arrive gently and stay longer than expected. So make yourself comfortable, lower the volume, let the night slow your thoughts. And as the world outside fades away, let us return to the moment where everything still felt safe, even though something had already begun to change. The line we pretended didn't exist. There is always a moment, quiet, unremarkable, when something changes. You don't hear it. You don't see it. You only feel it later, when it's already too late to step back. The next few days passed gently, like pages turning without sound. Mark filled the house with laughter, stories from old friends, plans that stretched into the future. He didn't notice the subtle shifts, how Claire and I avoided sitting too close, how we spoke carefully, like words could give us away, how silence became heavier when we were alone. The line was there. We just didn't say it out loud. One afternoon, rain arrived suddenly. Not heavy, just steady enough to slow the world. Mark left again, this time for work. The house returned to its quiet state, rain tapping softly against the windows. Claire stood near the bookshelf, pulling out a novel. "You can borrow this if you want," she said, holding it out to me. Our fingers brushed when I took it. Neither of us moved right away. It was brief, but it stayed. She cleared her throat and turned back to the shelf. "I loved this one," she added. "It made me feel understood." I nodded. "I'll read it." That evening, the power went out. Just for a moment at first. Lights flickered, then returned, then flickered again, and finally, everything went dark. Claire laughed softly from the kitchen. "Guess the storm's serious." Mark was still gone. The house felt different without electricity, smaller, more intimate. We lit candles. Their glow softened the walls, blurred the edges of everything. We sat across from each other at the table, the distance between us suddenly noticeable. "You okay with this?" I asked. She nodded. "I like it," she said. "Quiet." The rain grew louder. "So," she said, after a while, "why did you really come?" The question wasn't casual. I considered lying. Then I didn't. "I needed space," I said. "From everything, from myself." She listened, really listened. "I felt stuck," she said. "After college, after relationships that didn't go anywhere." The candle flickered. "I always wondered what would have happened," she said quietly, "if things were different. My breath caught. Me too. The words settled between us, warm and heavy. We moved closer without realizing it. Our knees almost touched. The room smelled like rain and wax and something else, something familiar. I don't want to hurt Mark, she said softly. Neither do I. That was the truth. Sometimes feelings don't ask permission. She stood first. I should go to bed. I nodded, stood as well. We faced each other in the candlelight, closer than before. For a moment, it felt like the world was holding its breath. Then she stepped back. Good night, she said again. This time, it sounded different. Sleep didn't come easily, because now morning arrived quietly, as if it didn't want to disturb anything fragile. The rain had washed the air clean. Sunlight slipped through the trees, pale and gentle, leaving the world feeling new, unfinished. I stood at the kitchen counter, waiting for the coffee to brew, listening to the slow drip that filled the room with warmth. Claire entered silently. Good morning, she said. Her voice was calm, too calm. Morning. We stood side by side, not looking at each other. Nothing had happened the night before, and yet everything had. Mark came in moments later, cheerful and loud, completely unaware of the careful balance holding the room together. You two look tired, he laughed. The storm kept me up, Claire said easily. I nodded. A lie made from truth. The day passed slowly. We spent it outside, walking trails, helping Mark with small repairs around the house. Normal things, safe things. But the quiet moments kept finding us. When Mark went inside to take a call, Claire and I stood by the fence overlooking the open fields. The wind moved her hair across her face. Without thinking, I reached up and tucked it behind her ear. The moment froze. Her eyes lifted to mine. Time slowed. I realized what I'd done only after my hand was already there. I'm sorry, I said softly. She shook her head. No, she whispered. It's okay. We stood too close, not touching, not moving, almost. Then footsteps. We stepped apart instantly. The line held, but barely. That evening, Mark went out again. Be back late, he said. Don't wait up. The door closed. The house settled. Claire sat on the couch, knees tucked beneath her, a blanket around her shoulders. I sat in the chair across from her, trying to keep distance that felt unnatural now. I don't like this, she said suddenly. My heart tightened. Which part? This pretending, she said. That nothing's happening. I nodded slowly. I know. Silence followed. Not empty, heavy. I care about you, she said. The words were soft, careful, honest. I care about you too. She looked down at her hands. We can't, she said. I don't want to hurt him. I don't either. That should have been the end of it, but feelings don't obey rules. She stood, paced once, then stopped in front of me. "I just need one thing," she said. "What?" She met my eyes. "Honesty." I stood. "There's something between us," I said. "I don't know what it means, but it's real." She exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for days. "Thank you." We stood there, close enough to feel each other's warmth. My hand lifted slowly, stopping just short of touching her arm. She didn't move away. The moment stretched. Almost. Then she stepped back. "I need time," she said quietly. "I understand." She nodded and went to her room. I stayed where I was, heart racing, mind calm in a strange way. That night, sleep came, but lightly, because sometimes the hardest moments aren't the ones where something happens, they're the ones where it almost. Some lines aren't crossed, not because we don't want to, but because we know the cost. Rest now. Let your thoughts slow. And so, the night grows quieter. Some feelings don't arrive suddenly. They appear slowly, in small moments, in glances that last a second too long, in silence that feels warmer than words. In this part of the story, nothing was said out loud, yet everything was felt. Because sometimes the most powerful emotions are the ones we try the hardest to ignore. As you rest now, let your breathing slow. Let your thoughts drift. The story is not over. In part 3, the distance between them becomes harder to maintain, and the line they pretend not to see begins to take shape. Until then, close your eyes, relax your body, and allow the calm to carry you into sleep. Good night, and I'll see you in the next part.